Hi guys, Boris Dorfman, LBC Capital. So I wanted to quickly address all this talk in the news, and my clients are calling me. It's like, Boris, the market is going to fall just because the banks are not doing forbearances anymore, and the news media is saying that there's no more stimulus, there's no more forbearances, people are going to have to pay their mortgage. You're fucking serious? People are going to have to pay their mortgage? Really? No, but yeah, so there's a lot of talk and there's a lot of scares, and there's people legitimately lost their jobs, but they went on unemployment. Some of them made more money than they did working. Now there's 10 million openings, I think. There's more openings than people looking for jobs, okay? These people are gonna go find jobs and gonna pay their mortgage. But as far as forbearances, so this was a temporary thing, but it's not gonna cause the market to collapse. One, the demand is strong and there is absolutely no properties on the market. So if some of these people decide to sell the properties, they're gonna get absorbed by the demand on the market, okay? Two, the way banks do modifications or forbearances, right? Especially in this market, especially after 2008, when they trained on it, they're doing it for their benefit, and they're also doing it not to piss off media and regulators, okay? So most likely what the banks would do, they can decrease interest rate coupled with 6 month or 12 months holiday for the payment, okay? Whatever payment the person doesn't pay, it gets tacked into the end of the mortgage. So for example, your mortgage is $500,000, you miss 20 grand of payments, you can have one of two things. You can have a new mortgage of $520 that the bank will charge you an interest rate on, or you can have your original mortgage of $500,000 plus $20,000 that's somewhere in a set-aside account that you're gonna have 5 years or 30 years or indefinite number of years to pay off, and some banks are not even going to charge you interest for that. Okay, banks are doing it for their benefit. And don't forget, in the past few years, interest rate has declined. So some of these mortgages are still at a much higher rate than the market. So figure people got these mortgage at 4.5%, 5% interest rate a few years back. Now market rates are what, 2.75%, 3%? Bank is okay with this. Okay, so especially if they add it at the end of the mortgage, making your $500 to $520 and still charging you their higher interest rate. Some banks, they may even drop that rate because it's better for them than that person walking and refinancing with another bank. Okay, they add it to the end of the mortgage, they put it in a set-aside account, or they can get you some kind of a payment plan for 3 to 5 years. Say, hey, Johnny, you don't have to pay interest rate on that 20 grand. I'll give you 5 years to pay. That makes it $4,000 a year. Figure, $320 a month. And they may even reduce the rate on your first or not. And even those banks that are pretty brutal and they will force you into foreclosure, people have equity in the property. So I read somewhere that 90% of loans and forbearances have at least 10% equity. How does that work? For example, Johnny bought a house, let's call it 2 years ago. He just recently bought a house for 500 grand, right? Okay, so Johnny paid $5,000 for the house. He went FHA route. He didn't even put 20% down. He put 3% down. That's $15,000. Okay, Johnny's mortgage was $485,000. Figure he even maybe paid off 5 grand somewhere along the way. He's left with $480,000. Okay, Johnny defaulted. He has $20,000 that he owes the bank. And the bank is really calling this note because there's very few banks like that, but it's a possible scenario, right? So Johnny owes $480 plus 20 grand, okay? Figure, and it's only 2 years. Johnny could have bought it 5-6 years ago and this house could have doubled. But let's say he bought it 2.5 years ago. It appreciated 5% first year, and it appreciated on average 20% second year. Let's even call it 15, right? Anyway, so it's 525 year one, and this is a conservative number, okay? And it appreciated 15%. I don't have a calculator. Let's call it 20. I don't know. Let's round it off. Let's call it, Johnny's house is 600,000. And mind you, if this figure was in 2017 or 18, 5 years ago, this house would have been 800,000. So his house is worth 600,000. He owes 480 plus 20,000 in back payments and back taxes. He still has $100,000 in equity. Okay? So even if it takes him 5% to sell the house, commission, closing costs, let's even call it 6%, $36,000, he's still left with $64,000 if he sells it. Figure he's not gonna pay for another 2-3 months. It's not gonna cause a waiver of foreclosure, guys, okay? Don't be scared, don't listen to Susie Orman or whoever talks on CNBC, and don't listen to your neighbors. You know, if your neighbor is a dentist and he's scaring you, tell him to go fix somebody's teeth. You know, tell them not to get into mortgage industry. So we may see a spike in the inventory, but it's not a bad thing. You know, the market can absorb it, and the market does need more inventory. There's nothing for sale. So subscribe to my channel, stop listening to the news, stop listening to your neighbors that are not in this field. Call me, I'll explain to you everything you want to know. But seriously, get all this noise out and watch the economic data and watch where we at. Thank you guys, I'll talk to you later.